Owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. I am fresh off of some dental work. I can feel my mouth smarting. I got antibiotics, all kinds of good stuff is happening to old man Perp here. But I did want to come and talk about what's going down with the new wave of secret lairs. As you can tell from the title of the video, new stained glass walkers have been confirmed for secret lair. Now this right here is an older secret lair. In fact, it's Eldraine Wonderland. But inside it, I have some representative examples for those of you who may not be familiar with what I'm talking about. So if you know what secret lair is, but you don't know what the foil walkers are, well, Wizards did special stained glass variations of their planeswalkers, right? These are extra includes in the secret lairs. Now I remember people asking me, hey, are these secret lairs that are coming out going to have planeswalkers? And I said, I didn't know, because we've noticed some changes with the secret lairs in terms of them going ahead and saying, you know what, we're not going to include the MTGO code. So part of me said, well, maybe they're going to scale back the secret lairs even further and not include the stained glass walkers, because the stained glass walkers, in a way, they do present a problem for Wizards, right? The stained glass walkers are really cool. If you don't know where they came from, originally the stained glass walkers were used in a promotional video to get us hyped about War of the Spark. 36 different planeswalkers, all with their own special stained glass artwork, which is honestly a pretty cool concept. I was hyped when they brought those sleeves to Arena, or not sleeves, I should say, styles. The styles for your planeswalkers. It's actually the only style that I was ever willing to spend gems on. I'm a huge fan of stained glass. So them including stained glass walkers is really cool to me, but it does present a problem, right? They've kind of locked themselves in a way to doing this sort of thing. They're going to have to come up with other neat includes to add into secret lairs if they want secret lairs to be up. They've set the standard, right? Now we've seen however many secret lairs, and they've all included foil planeswalkers. How much can they milk the foil planeswalker scenario in the first place? Like, how far can they go with this before people just start to go, and it loses its impact? I mean, knowing Wizards, they tend to like to take something and run with it forever. We saw them with diminishing returns with the masterpieces, which led to them trying mythic editions. We saw them do the same thing with full art lands, where they were like, oh, you know what? The onsets have really awesome full art lands. Why don't we continue this full art land concept in Zendikar? So they did it in Zendikar and went, wow, it went really well in Zendikar. When we go back to Zendikar, we'll do it again. And then they did it for the Zendikar block. And then they were like, you know what, let's keep going with Hour of Devastation, but we'll only make them show up one-fourth as often. But it doesn't matter. The point is we may reach the point where they're still shoving these stained glass walkers down our throats long after we've lost interest in them. But we are not there at this point. So what's going on? There are brand new stained glass walkers, but they're also mixed in with the older walkers as well. So you can get walkers from the previous iteration or this new wave of walkers. Now, you should note as well that this will, if you're somebody who pays attention to the value of these sort of cards on the secondary market, you're going to see a decrease in the price of things most likely like Nicol Bolas, Teferi. The hotter cards are probably going to take a hit to a degree, because when the first wave got put out, not everybody knew, oh, you know what, there's going to be another wave of these walkers. This might be the only go. They may not print more. They may not do it that way, but it looks like they are mixing in the older walkers they had from the previous iteration. I don't know if every single walker is available, but we've already had certain ones like Bolas and Teferi confirmed. So there will be repeats of those. And the fact that they've repeated those walkers may mean that the new wave of walkers also are going to be like multiple iterations and multiple secret lairs. So we may have already seen the high watermark in terms of secondary market valuation for these foil walkers for the time that secret lair has them available. Once these are no longer a part of secret lair, I can see the price ticking up over time, especially because they're actually genuinely beautiful cards. On top of being a rarity, something you can actually only acquire from secret lairs, they're actually very, very striking. Now, I'm sure you're saying to yourself, you've been talking for like 5 minutes and you haven't told me a single new walker from the set. Well, you're right. So why don't I go ahead and list those off for you now? The new walkers that have been reported are Liliana, Nissa, Narset, Ob Nixilis, Tybalt, Vraska, Jaya, Dovin, Saheeli, and Kiora. Now, out of these listed planeswalkers, the ones that seem like they're most likely to be the top peak ones are Liliana, for obvious reasons. Liliana is a huge one, right? Liliana, Nissa, because I mean Nissa is pretty strong. Making your lands into creatures, letting you get double mana, that is a strong set of abilities. Narset as well. Obviously, we know Narset is the big hotness because she is by a long shot the most valuable uncommon planeswalker. However, we do have another contender in the form of Tybalt. I mean, when you look at like Ob Nixilis, Vraska, Jaya, Dovin, Saheeli, maybe, but I mean, didn't we already have Saheeli? No, Saheeli's new, right? Saheeli is new. Saheeli, maybe. Kiora, a lot of these are really underwhelming. Not that many people who aren't particular collectors are going to care about those. But Tybalt has been making some waves in the meta in terms of like mono red beatdown, as he goes great with Cavalcade and shuts off life gain at the same time. Oof, man, that tooth is banging. All right, well, that's what happens. That's what happens when you hit up the dentist. So honestly, the four big ones are, well, the three big ones guaranteed are going to be Liliana, Nissa, and Narset, with the possibility of Tybalt also being a bigger boy. But bear in mind what I said in terms of valuations. We're looking at a scenario where we may not we may not get just one version of these, one printing, I should say, and that will impact values. Now, in terms of the colorless planeswalkers, Ugin and Karn, we're not really getting any reports of those guys, so they may be held back for, you know, future Secret Lairs. At the rate we're going, Secret Lair seems like it's going to be on offer for a while, especially since the ripple effect of Secret Lairs isn't going to be as obvious or as quick as something like Collector's Edition, right? We've seen how Collector's Edition from Throne of Eldraine really informed people's decisions in terms of Collector's Edition for Theros. We've seen a plummeting in value overall of both the regular printing packs and Collector's Edition packs. Everything has tumbled downwards. And when that sort of stuff happens, that's when Wizards goes into sort of like a panic damage control mode where they're like, okay, get rid of this, stop doing this. It's losing us secondary market value. And don't get it twisted and think for a second that Wizards isn't all about secondary market value. Secret Lair is very much a secondary market value product. You can see it based on the way they cost things, right? Like, look at the price you'd have to pay to get a Bitter Blossom Secret Lair, and it has one Bitter Blossom in it. How do they justify selling you one card and some tokens that go with it? Clearly, it's the secondary market valuation that justifies the cost of the Bitter Blossom, right? Like that's what people use to justify it. That's how Wizards is getting away with it. So they're very much focused on the secondary market. And Secret Lairs are going to take a much longer time to show if they're having any effect on the secondary market because of the limited nature of them, and then you can only pick them up on that one day, or in some cases, if we're being real, you get 2 days because you have the day where you can buy the bundle that includes the one you want, and then an individual day to buy the specific Secret Lair. So it works both ways. But either way, this new wave of foil stained glass planeswalkers is exciting to me, partially because I've got some of those Secret Lairs on the way. A very kind fan by the name of Bo Falcon has decided to acquire the Secret Lairs for me and send them on over. So we will get to unbox those on the channel, and that means another wave of foil planeswalker hunting. Because what I actually showed you in this box here, those foil walkers, they're part of a big fat pile of awesome cards that I'm adding to my cube. Not only do I have stuff like foil walkers, but we've got like Invocation Locust Gods, we've got like random planeswalkers, old school amazing Legends cards. Now that I picked it up, I'm like, look at my cool Magic cards. You guys like Magic cards? Take a look at the cool cards I'm including in my box here. And actually, you know what's funny? In the back here, I have some more of the secret layers. Speaking of the bitter blossom, I've got that right here. So all this stuff is slated, I should say, not slanted, slated to be entering into my cube. I'm looking forwards to another wave of secret layer goodness. And if you want to make sure that you check out that secret layer unboxing action, you're going to want to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So everyone, at this point, that's really all I have to say about the foil Planeswalkers. Let me know which ones you're most excited about. And do you actually care about them and the secret layers overall? Let me know in the comments below. I want to give a big shout out to my channel members and patrons. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Glad to have you all here, whether you're a channel member, whether you're a patron, or an everyday subscriber. It's still sweet to have you here. So thanks for coming by, everybody. I shall see you all tomorrow. And for now, I'm history, baby.